there are other ways to get involved and make a huge impact. And I do know raising money can just go such a long way, or even helping virtually, it can just go such a long way, because it's not the only component of the organization. Even though that's huge, is the actual animal part of it, there's so much else that goes into this organization.
Welcome to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast. I'm Tori Mystic. As a dog mom lifestyle expert, blogger, and business owner, I love talking to other women in the pet industry and sharing their advice with you every week. Sit, stay, and listen to the latest episode. As we celebrate Thanksgiving in the U.S. this week, it's a great time to reflect on what you're thankful for. Of course, we're all thankful for dogs and everything they bring to our lives. But for some, their dogs are even more than faithful companions. Guide dogs, service dogs, hearing dogs, and other assistance dogs give many people the freedom of mobility and access to the world. With that in mind, I'm very excited to share this interview with Stacie Bianco. Her passion for assistance dogs led her to create an online shop called The Good Dog Cause, filled with products that fund those programs. We talk about creating products that catch your eye and suit your target customer. And Stacie shares some of the inspiring projects run by her first partner organization, Palmetto Animal Assisted Life Services. If you love this conversation and want to learn more about starting your own print-on-demand online shop that gives back to pets in need, I have a whole masterclass to teach you exactly how to do it. With print-on-demand, you can choose from hundreds of items that will be created when your customer places an order. That means there's zero waste and zero inventory to keep track of. Enroll in this masterclass, and within weeks, you'll have one or more on-demand products, your online shop will be ready to accept orders, and your audience will be cheering you on. Learn more and enroll today at wearwagrepeat.com/courses. You can just go to wearwagrepeat.com and hit the courses tab in the menu. Certified professional dog trainer Stacie Bianco is the founder of The Good Dog Cause, a for-purpose company on a mission to help fund projects for nonprofit organizations that raise, train, and place assistance dogs. Her aim is to support guide dog, service dog, hearing dog, and other assistance dogs programs, such a mouthful, across the country, accredited by Assistance Dogs International. The Good Dog Cause partners with assistance dog programs to identify a project in need of funding for their volunteers, staff, facilities, dogs, or client service programs. They then fund this project through their collection of adventure-inspired gear and apparel made for exploring with your dog. Stacie is a CPDTKA certified trainer, volunteer guide dog puppy raiser, National Dog Agility finalist, and has been involved in dog sports and animal care organizations for over 16 years. She and her husband can be found exploring hiking trails and coffee shops around California as often as possible. Hi, Stacie.
Hello, Tori. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, welcome back to the podcast. I had you on, it was episode 77, and we talked about creating online courses for your dog training business. So I'm so happy to have you back here with a new project.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, it's something that is definitely a passion project, and something. The give back component of our online courses is something I just couldn't get away from, and I wanted to dive in a little bit further. And this brand is something that is its sole purpose. So that is the sole mission of this. So I'm excited to talk about it with you today.
Well, since I've been in the loop with you and following you on social media since we first met, I've noticed you posting more and more about being a puppy raiser and working with assistance dogs. How long have you been passionate about that cause?
Oh, yeah. It's something that I've always wanted to puppy raise. It's something I've seen, and getting the chance to do it, I could go on and on about just how fulfilling it is. So I've been involved, gosh, it's been quite a few years now. So the first organization I got involved with is PALS, so Palmetto Animal Assisted Life Services, and the acronym is PAALS, so PALS, and they're based in Columbia, South Carolina. So when I was in South Carolina, I started volunteering for them, and I got involved with transporting for their Prison PALS program, which I might talk about here in a little bit, but it's an organization. I think instantly I felt that combination of getting involved and nerding out on dog training and behavior, but for an even greater purpose than, let's say, training for dog sports or just my own, own competing. It's something when you are involved with training dogs, when it comes to giving back to somebody that needs them even more than you might, and knowing how much a dog has impacted my life, and to know how even greater they could impact someone else's life when they're involved with their day-to-day life at work with them and whatnot. It's something that I really can't get enough of. It's something I want to be involved with for the rest of my life. And I just kept thinking that entrepreneurial side. I'm like, I just want to give back something that I can raise some money for organizations like them. I can't get enough. It just consumes my thoughts all day. It really does.
Well, and so what you've done, which is, I think, such a good idea, is creating an online store full of products that give back to assistance dog programs. And I'm sorry, it's such a mouthful. For some reason, it's a tongue twister for me to say assistance dogs. But so you've created this online store, and when I first looked at it, I was like, I wonder if this is print on demand. So how are you making your products in your shop?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, they are. There are print on demand. So we use fulfillment through Printful and Printify. And since this is my first time getting involved with more physical products, so I've more so offered to clients on more of an online kind of service-based products. And so now being involved with physical products that I can ship anywhere, I wanted to do something that is fulfilled more on an as-needed basis. So instead of having such a large group of inventory, this is I like the way you say it, it really is such an eco-friendly way to offer products and to see what works and what doesn't and what people want or don't want. And especially because right now I want as much as possible for our proceeds to go straight to these programs. I really want to be careful with that. So we're just starting, and they're all fulfilled through print on demand. So when an order is placed, then just that order is fulfilled. So there isn't a big surplus that you have of some of the products, which is really great with getting started, I think.
Yeah, I think that doing print on demand is such a great way to fundraise for different organizations, but especially animal rescue. I know that everyone in my audience, that's our passion. And, most pet business owners want to give back in some way. And so doing print on demand, like you said, you don't have to pay up front. You're not having to buy all the shipping supplies. So you can really prioritize the money that you're making and give back as much as you can to your nonprofit partners. So how did you decide what kind of products and like designs to put on everything? You said that it's adventure inspired, and what does that exactly look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So a combination. So I think it comes from the perspective of, like, in a perfect world, I see the apparel and the gear. So gear, there's mugs, there's travel mugs, water bottles, dishes for dogs, water bowls. It could also be for your own food if you want to when you're out camping or hiking. I want this to be we have so many people in our community that love hiking with their dog. And really, this is what this is designed for. So cozy sweatshirts that you can have underneath of your rain jackets, whatever. Really, it's great for wintertime coming up, a lot of what we have. And then from a design perspective, I see that kind of more minimal style. And it's something that I think those that are involved with dogs sometimes, we don't necessarily want ourselves to stand out. I'm pretty introverted, and I hear that that can be kind of common for those that really love to be involved with training and dogs in general. So It's more of a minimal style. So I have a good friend that did all the graphic design, and that's what she does full time. So she actually did all of the designs by hand. So it's hand lettered and everything. And she's based out of Montana. And so we wanted to partner on this as a project together. And she's really passionate about giving back to these organizations as well. So she partners to design the kind of minimal design, and then we kind of work together to decide what products. So we've got sweatshirts and shirts, of course, there's some jackets, and then we have bowls that you can use, like I said, for dogs. That's kind of a big one that's for dogs in particular. And then we have other types of gear. So we've got some mugs, a lot around things that you can just put all in a bag and go on a weekend trip or a day trip when you're hiking.
I like it. It sounds like you really thought it through. And I think that's so important, instead of just like putting a paw print on something. Like, I don't know if, like, you hear of like pink washing, like when they just make it pink and they're like, it's for girls. And I think in the pet industry, there's like paw washing. It's like, we put a paw print on it, so all the dog people will buy it. But like, you put a lot of thought into it, like even, having subtle designs because you don't want to stand out. And that's just, I think that's what makes it all look so cohesive and branded, because you did think about that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And something to keep a lookout too is we're going to start to be doing some more breed specific designs too. So labs are definitely on the list.
I was going to say, how are you picking what breeds you're going to do? That's like so hard to decide.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to cover the general or most common assistance dogs, those breeds, the Labradors and Goldens, German Shepherds, and then some fun breeds more personally. I love Border Collies, so we'll probably have Border Collie design on there, and I love Corgis. I know we've got a lot of our community has Corgis, so those are probably the ones I have in mind first. So you'll have to be on the lookout for that. I'll let you know when we got the labs up.
That is so smart to start with like the typical service dogs. Last year, the Postal Service came out with those military dog stamps.
Mm-hmm.
I bought, my sister gave them to me for my birthday.
A good idea for a gift. I love that.
Yeah. But it was like a German Shepherd and a Belgian Shepherd, and I think there was a lab in there as well. So that's a good idea to think about, like which breeds are specific to whatever your niche is, because I know it's so hard to pick what breeds to focus on when you do that. Are you searching for a way to earn extra income in your pet business and expand your reach with really cool branded products? I bet you'd love to have an online store, but do you have the space to store inventory or extra time to ship products out to your customers? Me neither. That's why I'm obsessed with on-demand products. Print-on-demand technology gives you a way to boost your income and brand awareness with a zero inventory online store full of high-quality products. In my new masterclass, Launch an On-Demand Online Store for Pet Lovers, you'll save a ton of time by learning how I set up my own on-demand products like shirts, mugs, tote bags, and more. I'll let you in on the mistakes I made so you don't make them. And I'll explain the strategies I use to sell hundreds of on-demand products in the Wear, Wag, Repeat shop. Want to check it out and get a jump start creating on-demand products that your customers will be begging to buy? Head over to wearwagrepeat.com/courses and click on the On-Demand Online Store Masterclass. Enrollment is open now at wearwagrepeat.com/courses. Okay, I want to talk more about this organization that you're working with, the Palmetto Animal Assisted Life Services, PALS. So tell us more about them and how you chose them as your first partner.
Yeah, so they're really near and dear to my heart. So this is the first organization that I got involved with. So I do have some kind of personal experience with them. So PALS, they're pretty commonly referred to as, so it's their acronym PAALS, so Palmetto Animal Assisted Life Services. They're based in Columbia, South Carolina. So they're a 501c3 nonprofit. They're accredited by, if you've ever heard of ADI, it's Assistance Dogs International. So they're an ADI. They're actually the only ADI accredited program in South Carolina. So I could go on and on. They're just such a kind group of people, very, very kind-hearted people. So they raise, train, and place assistance dogs. It's a variety of assistance dogs. So that's anywhere from mobility service dogs. They have autism service dogs, PTSD, facility dogs, and then home-skilled companion dogs. So quite a variety. They're such a great group of people. So they will raise these assistance dogs. They do everything there, and then they will place dogs within a 230-mile range of Columbia, South Carolina. And what's really neat is, in addition to that, so it doesn't just stop there, they actually work with their local community, and they have two big programs. So they have Prison Pals, and then they have Summer Pals. So Prison Pals, they work with their local correctional facility, and so that their inmates can help raise and train these assistance dogs. And then they have a camp called Summer Pals, which is really unique. It's one of the only camps in the country where the children that come, they help to train these service dogs that are part of the PALS program. And they actually have kids, some of them have disabilities and some do not, and they partner together to all attend this camp. And then they'll have a couple of their assistance dogs there for them to learn about service dog training and giving back to their community. So it is just such a great organization. So that's our first organization that we've partnered with. And right now we are really, really close. We're about 75% of the way there to funding all new gravel in their play yards. So that's something they really, really need right now, is all new footing for their canine play yards. So all of the orders placed right now are actually all going to that project. So we're really, really close. We're almost all the way there.
That's exciting. I like how you've picked a specific project instead of just saying this is the nonprofit that we're giving a percentage to. You've picked like a specific thing. I don't hear of too many brands doing that. How did you think to do that?
Yeah, no, I was really inspired by Parks Project. I had heard a podcast from their co-founders where they were talking about raising money to fund projects at some of the national parks. And I don't know, it all came together where I was like, that's what I could do for these assistance dog programs. So instead of it being, let's say, 10%, we want to target a specific project, something they really, really need, and then be working towards funding that specific project. So that's something where once we fund that, then we can, ideally, I would love to start working with multiple organizations at the same time. That's really where I see the future of this. But even with PALS, in the spring, we're also going to be donating to their team training, which is when their clients graduate with their new dog. They provide a kit for them of supplies and treat bags and all of that. And so we're going to donate to put together a couple of those kits as well for their training team.
That's really cool. It's just like you can actually see the difference that you're making when you support something really specific like that. For anyone who's listening and wants to support a cause, but maybe doesn't have a particular one that they have a relationship with, do you have any tips on how you would recommend going about finding a good partner like that? Because I imagine like having a really good partner, they'll share your stuff with their community potentially, since the sales are going to be helping them. How do you find a good relationship and a partner like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, certainly any of the organizations you've been involved in, whether it's volunteering or maybe it's an excuse to get involved. Right now, some organizations, volunteering, it does look a little bit different right now with COVID-19. And I think anything that seems to, light you up kind of naturally where you've either been involved, or I think another way is what's been really helpful and something that was really important when we started this is going through the accrediting organization ADI, or Assistance Dogs International. So for that, whether it's assistance dogs or shelter organization, if there's any sort of accrediting body that you can work through. So they have a list of all of their accredited organizations, and then you can work down that list and reach out to them that way. And of course, any bit that you've been involved in different organizations, or of course your existing community, I think is a great way to have a list and then kind of go down and start to reach out to them.
Well, and you mentioned, things are different because of COVID-19. We can't really go in person. I mean, people are going in person and walking the dogs at shelters and stuff, but they're not going to have a big volunteer event these days. But it's kind of cool because you could actually volunteer virtually with an organization anywhere in the world. So that actually has opened up, I think, a lot of opportunities for people if we can find a little silver lining.
Oh, absolutely. And it just means, being involved in a different way. That maybe you would have never done otherwise. Because really, I think for those that are involved with dogs, a lot of people, I'm included, where the physical aspect of it, it's really fulfilling to do more hands-on work of going out and actually walking or transporting them, having them go out to play yards or something like that. It can be very fulfilling, but there are other ways to get involved and make a huge impact. And I do know raising money can just go such a long way, or even helping virtually, it can just go such a long way, because it's not the only component of the organization. Even though that's huge, is the actual animal part of it. There's so much else that goes into this organization.
So, okay, looking beyond COVID-19, one day we'll get past this. What do you see in the future for the future impact of the Good Dog cause? Do you have like a big dream for it?
Oh yeah, I think some of what I've kind of mentioned before, even more so. So I would love to be partnering with multiple organizations at the same time, and really I see this as just continuing to fund these projects. So I think it's such a neat way to share with the community some of the work that these organizations are doing, get a little more behind the scenes, and sharing their photos and their team that's behind the scenes helping these dogs and raising these dogs, I think is key. And I would love to really, continue on our website to show everything that's going towards, and information about these causes and the actual projects that we're funding. But I mean, I hope the sky's the limit. I would love to just continue to, fund as many projects as we possibly can, especially for the organizations that might be a little bit smaller or newer, that they don't have that maybe brand recognition. Not everyone knows about them quite yet, but they are still doing that good work. That is really just, such a heart for that. I just really want to make sure that their message is getting out there just as much, and we're giving back to them as well.
So, so you can help them get the word out, but like, how are people getting the word out about you? Like, what are you doing to tell people about your new project?
Yeah, a couple different ways. It does help to work with them to get that word out. And then we're pretty active on Instagram. I would say that's the biggest one, is getting involved there. We're also, I'm part of your 3-day challenge with Pinterest as well. So we're getting involved with Pinterest in addition, but making sure that we're really making sure that the visual component is shared in addition to the actual message. So making sure that we're taking photos, getting out in nature, and making sure that we're sharing photos of these assistance dog programs as well. But social media is a big one, and getting that message out there, I think that's probably the biggest for now. And then we'll continue to grow our community there.
And you also tell us about your website, and like, is it hosted on Shopify, I think? Or do you use
It's on Wix, actually.
On Wix. Oh, okay. So tell us, I actually don't know too much about Wix. So tell us about that, because your website also is like very clean and well designed looking. And I think that also helps, helps people kind of like trust the brand when it's new to them and they see it and it looks really professionally done. So what's it like working on Wix?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. No, it's incredibly user friendly. When I was doing my online courses, it's really the primary way that I got to know the actual platform itself and how to navigate that. It's incredibly user friendly. So we host the website there. And then what's really neat about some of these print on demand companies is their fulfillment can be integrated with that website platform. So when an order is placed, I can make sure to check that. And then it's integrated with the print on demand company. And sounds like even quite a few, even in addition to them, integrate with large platforms like Wix. And so then it can be fulfilled through there and kind of be, in a way automated to make that a little bit more streamlined and really just make that as quick as possible to make sure that the shipment is getting out to customers. But Wix has been incredibly easy, very user-friendly to get started on there. So they have templates that you can kind of start with, and then you can customize it with your brand. And then if you're more of an e-commerce site versus more of an online course website, they have so many different templates for that to kind of get started, and then you can just customize it to what you want. But I've had a lot of fun with it. I think what you're kind of naturally drawn towards, I think, is always fun to kind of lean into when you're building a business, what comes naturally to you. And then I've gotten really lucky to work with my friend who's a graphic designer and kind of work together and partner on that.
Yeah, well, it all looks really good. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, because we've been talking technology and e-commerce and stuff, but the dogs are really, what drives us to do what we do. And so you have your own dog, and then you're raising a puppy right now. So you kind of have 1.5/2 dogs. So tell us about your current dogs.
Sure. Yeah. Love that question. So we have, some of you might have seen us on Instagram. We have first Briggs, who's our 5-year-old border collie, and he's just a blast. He keeps us going, and he does agility, and he's a therapy dog, and he just is, I would say his number one favorite thing is traveling and hiking. Like, he loves traveling. When we take him to an Airbnb, he wants to check it out. He just has such a good time. So he's our little travel guy. And then we have a 10-month-old guide dog puppy that we're raising. He's a yellow Labrador Retriever. And since puppy raising, it is something for those that have, if it's in the back of your mind and it's something you've thought about, it is, especially now, if you're working from home and normally you'd be going to an office, I could just go on and on. I mean, it has been such a fulfilling thing. And it's really, if you have just a little bit, it doesn't take a ridiculous amount of time every day, but it is something, if you can commit to, 10, 15 minutes of training sessions each day, it is something that is incredibly fulfilling. So we're excited to do that for the first time. And I already know, we're going to keep puppy raising. It's something we know and hope that we'll be able to do for many years to come. It's a really neat thing to do.
Do you have to be a professional dog trainer to be a puppy raiser?
You don't know. And there's really no big requirement other than just being able to open your home and your heart to it. It's something that I had been exposed to a bit, and it just kept lingering in the back of my mind. But you do not, as long as you have a home and a little bit of time to devote to that. But it's something, it's really, what's neat is it kind of gets incorporated into your life a little more than, let's say, a pet dog would, where every day it's like a fun excuse to see a new place. It's like, well, he needs to be exposed to buses. Let's go to a busy intersection and just watch the buses go by, or go to a park bench, or check out a new trail that we know has some dogs that would be leashed, nearby. So it's just a fun excuse to get involved with your community. And really, I think it's some of the best people that are involved, that have big hearts. So for that, it's also a really neat way to get involved and meet some pretty incredible people.
And so when you're doing the puppy raising, do you know the timeline of how long you're going to have them for? Like, you have him for up until he's 1 year old, or how does that work?
Yeah, just it kind of, each organization is a little bit different depending on if it is a guide dog organization or another type of assistance dog group that maybe focuses on mobility service dogs or other type of service or assistance dogs. But generally, you would have them from about 8 weeks of age until they're between 15 to 18 months. Somewhere around that. Each organization is a little bit different. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier that they would go back, sometimes a little bit later. So, and some organizations they have a little bit of a different cadence to that, where puppy raising is a little bit shorter time, and then their trainers get involved a little bit earlier. But for this guide dog organization, we'll have him from 8 weeks up until anywhere from 15 to 17 months, and then he'll go back to formal training. So it's just long enough where you can you definitely get a little bit bonded to them.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna cry, Stacie.
It's tough. It's
when you have to say goodbye to him, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it'll be bittersweet. But what's nice is, from the beginning that that's the end goal, is to be giving back a puppy that is very well-rounded, has seen the world. Hopefully, right now it's a little bit different. So
yes.
being exposed to different things in life, and giving back a puppy that's going on to do bigger and better things. So I'm really excited to be a part of it.
No, it's definitely amazing. And I think probably experiencing it firsthand makes you even more tied to the cause that you're supporting with the Good Dog Cause.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm really excited to see the excitement so far. We're pretty new with this, and it's really exciting to see the kind words and really the excitement around the cause. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the impact that we can make, and we're starting off strong, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
So I did not prepare you for this. I'm going to kind of throw you a question like off the top of my mind here, but for people who are thinking about starting an online store like this, what is one thing that you think they should do, that they should definitely do to help make it more of a success?
Oh, yeah, I love this. I think there's a couple of different things that come to mind, but I would say one of the biggest things, these social media platforms, since we've talked a lot, I think aside from, I would say that on the social media platforms, being aware of what catches your eye. So if you are already your target market, right? If you are already the ideal customer, being involved, let's say you're thinking about a brand that is largely going to be for pet owners, for those that are involved in the dog community, really seeing what catches your eye naturally. What is it about that? What is it, the actual product? Is it the design? Is it how it's the photos? I know I'm a big, a really good photo. It makes such a big impact, especially when it comes to e-commerce. So a photo that's really showing, I know you talk about this, how the product's actually being used versus just the product kind of there, how it's being used, how you're incorporating it into, let's say, if you're hiking a lot with your dog, showing that product when you're hiking with your dog, as simple as that is, and really just clear photography. I think we're so photo driven. I think taking some time to really work on that skill set, I think is immensely helpful, to really hone that skill. There's some great editing programs out there. And I'm going to add one more. I think I kind of mentioned this before, but I think getting involved in that industry, I think if it's a give back, I think that's certainly a big one. But however, I think being involved in your community in some way can be really impactful to kind of see what just kind of draws you in naturally.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I think that we can get so caught up in, will people like this? Will people buy this? And you should kind of just pause for a second and ask, would I buy it? Like, would I wear this? Would I want to go somewhere and have my picture taken wearing this or holding this or whatever? So that's really something simple, but like good to think about. I think we can get so caught up in like moving forward. You should just like ask yourself if you like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what really, what is it about what's drawing your eye to certain things online, e-commerce? Because it's just, especially right now when some of these brick and mortar facilities are either not open or open in a little bit of a different way. I think it's really powerful, especially if you're building a brand where the orders are mainly placed online. It's really powerful. And that's how you get your message out there, is through those words and those photos and that story. So it can be really powerful. What is it about that drew you in?
Yeah.
Is it the way that product's positioned? Is it that design? Is it that color? What is it about that? So I think it's the details are important. So pulling that out and just really focusing on that, it's important.
A good way you could kind of do that is like on Instagram, I use like saved posts all the time. I don't think people utilize saved posts as often as I do, but because you can save like into little folders and stuff. And I'm always saving artists that I like, and then I can reach out to them later if I want to. But yeah, you could, anytime you see a post that you're like, oh, a post that made you go to the profile and click on the link, like what post triggered that kind of action, and save it. And then once a month, go back and look at all those saved posts and see what they have in common. That would be kind of a good little experiment. I might have to do that.
No, I love that. I do the same thing. I was sending them to myself and just keeping an eye, especially for some of the brands, as we get towards right now, we'll be getting pretty close to the holiday season. And so, having the ability to go back, especially, it might not be for yourself. It might be for a gift for someone else, of keeping that in mind when it's more their time or it's their birthday or something like that. Especially for so many organizations now have some sort of give back component to it. So giving a gift that continues to give back, I think, is a really nice thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we could just talk all day long, but you have to tell everyone where they can find your store, because I have to end the episode, unfortunately. So where can they find you online?
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. And it's always a pleasure speaking with you. We can be found, our website, which is kind of the main place to go, is thegooddogcause.com. That'll take you to the right place. You can browse all of our products. And then we are on Instagram at the Good Dog Cause as well. And then if you want to learn more about PALS, if you're in South Carolina or that area, they are pals.org. So PAALS.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stacie.
Thank you so much, Tori. I appreciate it.
What did you like most about this episode? Find me on Instagram at TMystic and let me know what intrigued you or what questions you have about starting or growing your own dog-inspired business. You can also screenshot this episode and tag me in your stories. I love to see who is listening out there. Some of the best conversations happen after the episode, right? So track me down over on Instagram or join the Wear, Wag, Repeat Labs Facebook group to connect with other dog-obsessed entrepreneurs. And as always, you can find all the links and resources discussed in this episode at wearwagrepeat.com/podcast. See you back here next week.